Any meditation practice, any form of meditation, mindfulness, whatever you practice, it is incomplete and it will never give you the result if Samyama is not at the heart of it. Without Samyama at the heart of meditation, your meditation will not succeed.
You are watching Reflections on Reality, presented by Kanchi.
But first, we need to understand what is Samyama. Samyama is described in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So, Maharshi Patanjali says, Trayam ekatra samyamaha. So, what does this mean? When three things come together, it becomes Samyama. So, what are these three things? The first thing is Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. So, this is one way of looking at Samyama. So, what is Dharana? Concentration, one-pointed concentration on one object of meditation. So, suppose you are meditating on a sensation, bhavana in the body. On this bhavana, on this bhava, on this sensation, you're just observing the sensation. Looking at it with concentration is dharana. Right? One-pointed concentration means giving up all the other thoughts, focusing on one thought and looking at it continuously is dharana. And steady flow of this concentration, like a lamp. So, lamp you keep adding the oil. Whenever it goes down, you still add the oil and this continues. The lamp continues to burn. Similarly, when this concentration becomes deepened and happens for a long time, sustained flow of concentration is dhyana. Right? So, focusing on this one sensation, looking at it for a brief period of time or just becoming aware of it, this awareness is called dharana, just becoming aware. But focusing on it for a long period of time and staying on this sensation is called dhyana. And now when we are looking at it, who's looking at it? The subject. And what is this? The object. When the subject and the object become one, there is communion or there is something called Samadhi. So, when we say Trayam ekatra samyamaha, Trayam are these three things. This is one way of looking at it or one explanation for this Trayam. Trayam is Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. Samadhi is the disappearance of the subject and the object in meditation or the engulfing of the subject in the object or engulfing of the object in the subject. This is called Samadhi. So, when these three things, this sandhi happens, this conjunction happens of dharana, dhyana and samadhi, it is said to be samyama. Samyama can also be interpreted differently. Samyamana is basically equanimity. Right? Through equanimity, when we are looking at object, without equanimity, whatever object you are looking at, there is no mastery of the senses, there is no mastery of meditation, there is no mastery of the mind. If you are looking at a sensation and you are getting agitated, you are getting angry or you are getting disturbed by it, then it is not samyama. Samyama is one-pointed concentration but equanimous concentration. One-pointed dhyana but equanimous dhyana. Without equanimity, samadhi cannot be attained. So, another interpretation for samyama is when we say Trayam ekatra, Trayam is the seer, the one who is seeing, right? Drishta, what we call the Drishta. So, when I am looking at an object, I am aware of an object. So, this Drishta is the seer. And then there is something called Srishti. Srishti is the object. Srishti is the Jagat. Whatever is around you, whatever, including this body, all the sensations, anything with a form, and even without form, with some guna, is Srishti. So, when the Drishti and the Drishta and the Srishti, and then there is this experience of seeing, or there is this occurrence of seeing, right? There is the seer and there is the seen, that which you are seeing, that is the seen, and the act of seeing, right? This is called Drishti. So, the act of seeing is Drishti. So, when the Drishta, the Drishti and the Srishti become ekagra, come together. When These three things come together, it is called Samyama. So when the Drishta, that is the seer, that is I am, and the experience of seeing, and the Jagat or the Srishti, when these three things come together, it is called Samyama. So first, in order to understand Samyama, we need to understand this concept of Drishti and Srishti. See, in the mundane existence, I am an individual, right? I am Kanchi and I am looking at the universe. I am looking at the Jagat, right? I look at things around me. I look at this camera. I look at you. I look at all these things here. So I am the seer, right? And this is separate from the world around me. This is separate. The seer is also separate from the hand, from the pen, from the world around. This is Jagata. This is called Srishti. Whatever is manifesting is Srishti. Whatever has manifested is Srishti. Whatever is created is Srishti. Right? So, in our ordinary understanding of the universe, we say that the universe exists separate from me and I exist separate from the universe. And I look at the universe and I am influenced by the universe. The universe is continuously influencing me. So now the weather is hot, I am sweating, right? So I am influenced by the temperature in this room, right? I am influenced by the Srishti around me. So this, what we say Drishta, to an extent, I cannot use the word Drishta here, but I'll say this Jiva, this individual consciousness is, or this individual body, in this conglomerate of consciousness, mind and body, is influenced by the Srishti, by temperature. I am influenced by the world around me. So this is the ordinary mundane existence of every human being. We are influenced by the world around us. This is called Srishti and then Drishti. The Srishti influences the Drishti. Right? So based on how the world is, I feel that way. Suppose the temperature is hot, I feel hot. Suppose it's very cold, I feel cold. Suppose the environment around me is chaotic. So we are living we are continuously influenced by our environment. So suppose you are living in a household where there is a lot of chaos. People are screaming at each other, fighting. It's very, what we call a toxic environment, right? So we are influenced by the toxic environment. It could be your office, it could be your house, it could be your school, college, your workplace, your friend circle, or your city or your country. We are influenced by society, right? So there is the Srishti that is influencing the Drishti. And because of this, the way we perceive the world changes. We look at the world as a negative place. So I'll say, no, I'm not happy with this world. The world, so I say it all the time, the world is full of chaos, world is full of hate and animosity and anger and violence. We hate this world. Why do we say this? Because when we open the newspaper or when we read news on our mobile phones, on Twitter, wherever we go, we see that there is a lot of violence, there is a lot of war. This doesn't go away. I'm not telling that, these things don't exist. They exist, but we respond to this or we react to this existence the way it is, right? Suppose, so in a way, like we all might have heard that I am a small part of the universe, right? I am an individual. This kind of thing we might have heard many times. I am an individual. My city is very small when compared to the state. The state is very small when compared to the country. The country is very small when compared to the continent. The continent is very small when it's compared, in relation to the world. Our Bhuloka, our Earth, our planet is very, very small when compared to the sun. The sun and our, few planets are very, very tiny when compared to other galaxies. Our galaxy is very tiny. It's not even a speck in the massive cosmos. So this is how the science perceives us, and we say I am nothing at all. I am a very, very small thing in relation to the scale of the universe. So this is the Drishta, and that is the Srishti. The Srishti is infinite. It is huge. It is, and in over a expanse of time, right? So what is my time? I have lived on this earth for a very brief time, and it is of no consequence at all whatsoever when you see the scale of the universe in terms of space and time. So this is the basic concept of Srishti and Drishti. As the Srishti is, in relation to Srishti, the Drishti or the Jiva is not even a speck of dust. Right? So that is one way. But what if I say the whole Srishti is not even a speck? The whole expanse of the universe and time is not even a speck of dust in relation to the Drishta, the seer. This consciousness, what if I say it is only a matter of perception? When you perceive the world from a standpoint of ignorance, when a standpoint of Maya, you perceive the world as massive and you perceive the individual as nothing. But what if I say, when you see the world from the perspective of Brahman, then what is the world? The world is the whole universe of universes, multiverse, whatever you want to call it. And the massive expanse of time is not even a grain of, not even as big as a grain of sand when compared to the experience of Brahman. Right? When you compare in relation to the experience of your own self. Right? When we say the self, again it is not the Jiva. When we say, now this is called Drishti and Srishti. So the first one is called Srishti and Drishti. As the universe exists, that is how you perceive it. Right? So the Srishti comes first and then the Drishti. Now I am saying, when you change your perspective on the universe and you look at the Drishti first, right? The origin of the universe is not in Srishti. The origin of the universe is in Drishti, is in that eternal consciousness which is the seed of the universe or the canvas of the universe. So when I say I am the universe or I am Brahman, Brahman is the seed and the canvas. Without this canvas, the universe cannot be superimposed on this without the canvas, right? The universe, they say, is nothing but a superimposition on the consciousness of Brahman, on the consciousness of self. So why am I talking about Drishti and Srishti and Drishti is, now we are continuously disturbed by Srishti or influenced by Srishti. When you change your perspective and you start looking at the world outside and you start looking at the universe within you from the point of view of the Drishti, from the point of view of the seer, from the Drishta, as the seer, then you are not influenced by the universe. You are not disturbed by the universe, right? The universe moves according to your rhythm. You get what I mean? Or we can say you are in tune with the rhythm of the universe. Or you will become aware that the universe moves at the rhythm of your soul, of your Atma. The universe is not separate from your Atma, from the self. Right? The Atman is that seed or that root from which the universe is expanding and contracting. It is moving, right? So the whole universe is not separate. It is a manifestation on this. So now to understand or to change this perspective, so why do we need to do this? The point is nothing, it's very simple. It is like waking up from a dream. When you are dreaming, there is a huge universe, right? You will have stars and galaxies and cosmos and planets, everything in your dream also. So where is the galaxy now? Where is the cosmos now? Where are the stars and the planets that was in part of your dream? See, they all expanded in your own consciousness. It's simple as that. Similarly, the waking dream that we see is also exactly the same as the dream consciousness. There is not an iota of difference between the dream consciousness and the waking consciousness. Right? So the idea is to wake up from this waking dream and to see the universe for what it is. And to see yourself. See, we don't even care about the universe. Let the universe take care of itself. Seeing yourself as it is enough. That is only freedom. See, what are we seeking? We are seeking happiness. We are seeking peace. We are seeking freedom. We are seeking freedom from fear. Right now we are afraid. Right? We are anxious. What will happen to me tomorrow? What will happen to those I love tomorrow? what about me, what will happen after I die, how will I die, all these kind of fears are there. Money and just the stress of living, right? We are living daily in some amount of stress, wondering this will happen, that will happen, and all these things, and constantly we're reacting to the world, being influenced by the world, positively, negatively, daily. There is a tug of war. Sometimes we feel positive, sometimes we feel negative. So to break free from this bondage of ignorance, we need something called Samyama, which is the root of meditation. See, Samyama is not different from meditation. It is the process of meditation, or it is the cream of meditation. It is the essence of meditation. See, understanding Samyama is understanding your own self. If you can somehow figure a way out to understand how Samyama works in you, then meditation will give you fruits. Till then, without Samyama, when we meditate, we will not get the fruits of meditation. See what happens daily. We spend 20 minutes, 21 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever it is, 1 hour, just trying to control the mind, just trying to bring the mind under control, our thoughts under control. We bring the thought here, it disappears from somewhere else. So as soon as we start meditating, all these thoughts rush. And we spend 40 minutes just trying to control the thoughts. Where are you going to erase your lifetimes of karma? How are you going to attain the self? All these things seem impossible when we meditate, because just yesterday's thoughts, today's thoughts, some fight you had, some argument, somebody said something, some beautiful person, girl in your you met, these kind of desires, they keep taking you outside, and fears and all these things, and you will never be able to meditate. So this is why we need Samyama. But before Samyama, see, we need to understand there is something called, there are 3 things: Itcha Shakti, Gnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. Right? So I'll give you a small story about this, Itcha Shakti and all these things. How creation happens, how we create things. So basically what happened, and we know about the story of Skanda, right? So Skanda, Subramanya, Murugan, these are all his names, Kumara. So he was born to Shiva, right? So he was born from the third eye of Shiva. Skanda was born from the third eye of Shiva, Kartikeya. We call him Kartikeya because he was born under the star of Kritika. So he was born under the star of Kritika. So he's called Kartikeya. So when Skanda was born, he is born from the Tapashakti or the Ojas of Shiva. So Shiva is a Mahatapasvi, right? Shiva is a great Tapasvi, and he is the paramount, like he is the Mahadeva. So when Skanda was born, he was born with this deep desire for self-realization, right? He was born out of Shiva, so his mind, everything was, he was a Tapasvi from birth, basically. And when he started wandering around the worlds, he saw so much chaos. He saw our world is full of duality. World is full of chaos. People are fighting. There is sickness. There is death. There is war. There is violence. So he saw this whole world, and he's a commander-in-chief. So he was the commander-in-chief of the gods, of the devatas. That's why he was born. So when he saw all this chaos and this violence and this, disturbance in the world, he wanted to figure out who is at the root of this. So he killed some, asuras and all of that. But even after that, there were new asuras, more asuras were coming and fighting the devatas, and devatas were constantly fighting with these people and all this. And there was no peace anywhere in the universe. Wherever he saw chaos and violence and all this. So he wanted to figure out who is responsible for this. And he meditated on this idea that who is responsible for this, and he finally found the answer. The answer was Brahma. See, Brahma Prajapati, he is the creator of the universe, of all the universe. He is called the creator, Pitamaha. So he realized that if Brahma did not create such an imperfect world, there would be, no violence, no bloodshed, no sickness, death, disease, all these things. So he said, this Brahma's mind is flawed. Brahma's mind is, so the creation is like the creator. So when the creation is so bad, then the creator also must be that bad. So getting angry, he went and imprisoned Brahma. Right? Skanda imprisoned Brahma himself, the Pitama, because this guy is a warrior. He was very angry. Imprisoned as in he wanted to, he didn't want Brahma to continue with creation anymore. He said, enough, you have done this creation and we are not happy with it. From now on, I will create. Right? So now Skanda decided that he will create a world. And he wanted to create a world without sickness, without death, without old age, without war, without opposing forces. He didn't want the opposing forces, good and bad, devatas and asuras and all that. And no matter how hard he tried, he could not succeed. Because the world could not be created at all. No matter what he did, he could not create the world. And that time, Ishvara, his father Shiva, came to him and told him, he said, son, what you are doing is a noble cause. But it cannot be created because even Brahma's children tried before. See, Brahma had Manasa Putras. Manasa Putras is just out of, he created from his mind, he created 4 sons. That is Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana and Sanata Kumara. So he had 4 children, Manasa Putras. And these 4 children, he left them and he said, why don't you go and create all the different, species of beings and all that, all those, different worlds and all that. So when these 4 Kumaras, they were very small children, they went into tapas. So when they were in the process of creating, they met Shiva on the foothills of the Kailash. And Shiva came in the form of Adi Guru, that is Dakshinamurti. So when they saw this Dakshinamurti, immediately these 4 children were mesmerized by this figure and they sat in meditation. So they took Diksha from Ishvara. Right? Paramashiva, that is Shiva, as Dakshinamurti gave initiation. And what was his initiation? It was in silence. Initiation to what? To self-realization. So these young children, just sitting in the presence of their Guru, of Adi Guru Shankara, that is Shiva, they attained self-realization. And because they had attained self-realization, they were made of pure sattva. Even when Brahma created them, the first mistake he did was, he created them from pure sattva. Sattva is, if you know about the 3 gunas, there's Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. Rajas is the aggravating form of guna, of quality. And Tamas is inertia. And Sattva is like pure consciousness. It is the cream of the gunas. So only when these 3 gunas come together, creation happens. Because Brahma created them out of pure sattva, they were naturally attracted to Shiva and they attained self-realization without being able to create the world. Right? So Shiva tells the story to Skanda and he says, listen, before you, even Brahma had tried to do this. Brahma also created from Shuddha Sattva. From the sattvic energy, he tried to create the universe, but it failed. So the universe cannot be created with sattva. The universe exists only because of day and night, because of duality. Without duality, without day and night, without dream state, waking state, deep sleep state, without rajas, without tamas, without sattva, the world cannot be created. It cannot hold form. So to hold form, for time and space to exist, this duality is very important. So Skanda was very disturbed. Skanda said, then there is no way out for man. What is the way out for an individual? We have to suffer all our life. So Shiva told him, the external world is created by Brahma. Brahma creates the external world. That is the Srishti of Brahma. The internal world is created by you. Right? That is up to you. For there, you don't need the 3 gunas. You can transcend the 3 gunas. That's why Shiva is called Triguna Rahita. Triguna is 3 gunas. Rahita is beyond the 3 gunas. So there you can transcend the 3 gunas. Right? And that is when Skanda, he left his abode in the Himalayas and came down to these are all popular folklore and in the Puranas and all that. He comes down south and he sits in tapas to attain that self, because he knows that the world outside cannot become free of violence, free of chaos, but the inner world can become. So he wanted to rid himself of that instincts for violence and anger and hatred and this rajasic qualities and all that. And the path that was chosen is Samyama. Samyama is, again, like I said, those three things: Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. This is the way of self-realization. Right? So for creation, when Brahma wants to create, usually what happens for us to create, like you, me and you, if we want to create something, we need something called Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti is that energy, the zeal to get up and do something. Suppose I want to drink water, I have to get up, go out there, fill the water jug, get a glass and drink. This is called Kriya Shakti. But how do I know I have to go there? How do I know where the water is? How do I know water quenches my thirst? This is called Gnana Shakti. Knowing that water will quench my thirst. That is called Gnana. Vijnana. That is the knowledge of mundane existence. Knowledge of mundane existence is Vijnana. And then there is something called Itcha Shakti. I still need the desire to quench my thirst. So we have Itcha Shakti, desire or the intention, and then the Gnana Shakti, knowledge on how to do it, and then Kriya Shakti, the action. So these three things come together in order to create something. But in the inner world, in Antakarana, in the inner world, we have to give up two things out of these three things. What are those two things we have to give up? We have to first give up Kriya Shakti, means wanting to do all these things. See, meditation is not doing something. I want to meditate, I will do meditation. Meditation is not an activity. Surrender of all activity is meditation. So you cannot meditate, you become meditative. Right? So first you have to give up something called the Kriya Shakti. Wanting to meditate is Itcha Shakti. Next is intention. I want to do this. I want to rid myself of pain. I want to rid myself of fear. That sankalpa is okay. Before, sankalpa is okay. But when you are in the process of meditation, when you become meditative, when you are looking, let's say I am looking at a bhavana, I am looking at a sensation. At that time, if I keep saying I want to get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it, you cannot get rid of it. This is not Samyama. Samyama is being rid of two things, that is Itcha and Kriya. Mainly Itcha. See, Kriya is the external form of Itcha. Itcha is intention. From intention comes desire, and from desire comes action. So, in order to surrender action, in order to give up action, first we have to give up desire, and in order to give up desire, we have to give up intention. Intention, and Brahma, they say, is created the universe from intention. He did not create the universe by sculpting the universe and all that. Just by intention, he created the universe. He influenced the universe. His Drishti influenced the whole Srishti. Right? So that is a separate thing. But let's understand, for us in the inner world, now we want to practice Samyama. What is the process of Samyama? So like I said, when we say Drishti and Srishti, there are three things that happen. First is Srishti influences Drishti. The object influences the subject. That is the first thing. The second thing is the subject influences the object. This also can happen. Suppose you are going through, you are meditating, and there is a sensation which is very, very cold. You have a sensation of a cool breeze or something in your body. Right? By looking at that sensation and imagining it to be hot, you can create heat in that particular sensation in any part of the body. See, this, even the Tibetan Buddhists practice something called Tammo. Tammo, I think you might have seen, or some people might know, they drape themselves in a wet cloth in the freezing Himalayas. They drape themselves in a wet cloth and they meditate on the fire, on Agni. Right? And they chant some mantras and all that. But they are imagining or they are visualizing their body to be full of heat, to be full of fire. And with this, the wet clothes that they have draped in the frozen Himalayas become dry. Right? So this is called tammo. So what does this show? That the mind, like mind over matter, the subject can influence the object just by looking at it. See, even me, when many times before, I used to fall sick often and all these things, I used to have pains or whatever. I would look at the sensation, where is the pain coming from, or where is the pain, how is the pain, what is the quality of pain, and just I would look at it, and I would open up these sensations of pain. Pain would disappear before my eyes, just by not by trying to get rid of it, not by saying go away or healing, bringing some white light or none of those things, just by looking at the pain and not responding. See, pain has a particular type of sensation, pain has a particular type of vibration. And when we look at it, usually what happens when we're looking at the vibration, we are also vibrating. The subject is also vibrating at the frequency of the vibration, at the frequency of the object's vibration. Right? So we are influenced. Now when our mind stops oscillating with the vibration with the frequency of the vibration, and we just watch it, undisturbed, unperturbed. Thus, you need a strength, right? It is not a strength of I'll hit you. It is just I will witness this. Come what may, I will just watch this as it is. This sense of equanimity, the strength to be perfectly in poise, right? So just being in poise and just witnessing a certain sensation without moving with it. That is equanimity, and that is at the root of Samyama. Just by looking at it, these pain sensations would disappear. This is the secret to healing. If you want to heal yourself, just look at anything that is happening in the body. When you look at it, and don't try to get rid of it. If you try to get rid of it, you become a slave to it. Right? You will suffer. Right? So you should not be repulsed by it. Neither should you say, no, this is okay, I will just, get attached to this. You should not be either attached or detached, repelled by it, repulsed by it. You should just witness it as it is. Just looking at a certain particular sensation as it is. With one pointed concentration. See, whatever you look at, it opens up. Internally, externally. Whatever you look at, that path will open up. Right? So some people have digestive issues. Just by becoming aware. See, when you become aware of a particular sensation, all the energy of your consciousness moves towards that. So this is physiological. When we say consciousness moves towards that, physically even the blood, moves towards that. So you can feel that. You can feel the difference in temperature. It can be measured physically. It can be measured scientifically also. I'm sure many people have done this. Just by becoming aware of a certain sensation or a certain part of your body, it becomes alive, so to say. You get it? So to heal something, if there is a pain or anything, by looking at it, it opens up. Right? So this is one part. So the first thing is, like I said, the object influences the subject. The second is the subject is influencing the object. This is only the middle ground. See, this is not the ultimate in Samyama. I mean, if you are influencing the object of meditation, it is not the ultimate. You are still in somewhere in between. The final thing after this is the object and the subject disappear. As long as there is separation between the object and the subject, there is suffering. I am seeing this. This is separate from this object. I am looking. This, the seer is different. The seen is different. The separation, as long as there. So when there are two, there is always suffering. The two have to become one. Right? And they will disappear. Like bubble in water, the bubble is not separate from the water. It only appears to be separate from the water. Right? Or the foam of the water appears to be separate from water. Foam is also water. Bubble is also water. Right? Even the steam that comes out of it is also water. The ice is also water. All these are different forms of water. Similarly, all these different, same consciousness manifests as subject and object. So the first thing is object influences subject. Second thing is subject influences the object. And third thing is neither the subject nor the object remain to be influenced. This is freedom. This freedom is like, just imagine a sky and clouds, right? Now, when we look at the sky on top, we see so many clouds. But does the cloud have any effect on the sky, on the expanse of the sky? From our perspective, it is covering the sky. But can a cloud cover the sky, no matter how big it is? The presence of the cloud makes no difference to the space, makes no difference to Akasha. Akasha remains free with the cloud, without the cloud. It is like that. So our consciousness is free at all times with the cloud or without the cloud of this mundane existence, with the universe, without the universe. All these things make no dent in our Shuddha Chitta, or in our pure consciousness. This makes no difference whatsoever. Our real state is freedom. Our real state is being like God, Brahman. Right? So being Brahman is our real state, not like God. God itself. And when you say it is not an individual God, see, God in Hinduism or in Sanatana is not an individual God sitting in Vaikuntha, Kailasa, all those things. Even that deity sitting, even Mahavishnu sitting in Vaikuntha is also Brahman. We are not saying that does not exist, but that is also Brahman. And in whether you read the Bhagavad Gita, whether you read any of the Shastras, there is nothing, there is no blasphemous thing saying there is separate, that we are something inferior, they are something superior, nothing like that. Everybody is Brahman. Whether you say, in whatever way you look at it, there are no separations in this Advaitic philosophy, right? And not even Advaitic philosophy. In existence, when you become aware of your own self, you will see where are your gunas. See, you will only, when you go in deeper states of consciousness, all the Shastras reveal themselves to you through experience. We don't need to rely on Shastra, external Shastras for internal experience. When we experience, we will know. See, when you experience, you know what you are. Nobody can tell you otherwise. Right? So, this is the practice. Now, there are 3 types of Samyama. Right? So, one is called Bhaya Samyama, second is called Antar Samyama, and third one is called Pratigrahana. Pratigrahana Samyama. So, what is Bhaya Samyama? Bhaya Samyama is that which helps us meditate better in daily life. So, Bhaya Samyama is equanimity in the external life. Somebody scolds you. See, this includes all the yamas, niyamas, saucha, all these things of Patanjali Yoga Sutras also. When we say Bhaya Samyama, is basically being equanimous in the real world. You go to an office, your boss is screaming at you. Do what it, see, you have to respond. We don't say Samyama doesn't mean I will just look at it and not do anything about it. However, you need to act naturally. You should act. We are not saying you should not act, but you should not react. See, reaction is what? Someone slaps you, you slap them back. Right? Not looking who it is. It could be your father, it could be a police officer, it could be somebody you don't have the capacity to fight back against. Right? That is reaction. See, when we react, we fail. Daily we suffer. Somebody says something, it could be something minute, and we will respond. Probably, if we are more agitated, we'll respond in a worse way. It's not just anger. Anything in life, always best to act. To act is to be free of the impulse to react. See, continuously what happens as soon as, see, why are there so many problems in the world? Right? Kama is lust. People are so lusty. You see some beautiful woman, you see anything, you don't look at the age, you don't look. Something people are doing and suffering because their entire life they have not controlled these tendencies or lust. Suddenly one day last you want to control, it's not possible. You become animal-like. So similarly, lust is like that, greed is like that. We should not do gambling tendencies, alcoholism, cigarette smoking, drug abuse, and just daily life also. We should not eat you should not eat fried food. Some people know that you should not eat that, but we are so addicted, we look at it, no control of impulses we go and have. So for all this, we need equanimity. For all of these things, just in a daily life, being equanimous adds a great amount of strength and simplifies life to a large degree, to a great degree. So because of which you will be able to meditate better. You will be able to give yourself time. So acting in daily life without the need for greed and aversion, becoming repulsed by it. We don't like certain people, we don't like certain events, we don't like certain places, certain occurrences, certain circumstances, and we try to avoid it all our life. We cannot go around in life living like this. We have to face our fears, we have to face our uncomfortable situations also. This is only equanimity. In the moment, not responding with either greed or aversion is equanimity, right? Is bhaya samyama. But in the long run, even after the event has happened, not carrying hatred and the sense of retribution, I have to do this to this person, and or this regret, or this all these other, we know that greed, jealousy, hatred, all these things, not carrying these things, not swallowing our negativity, and saying, okay, I will look at it later on. Having that forbearance, having a peaceful perspective on life. Let me be at peace. I don't want to be in conflict with the universe. Samatva Bhava. All are my own people. Living like this, why we have to live like this? Doesn't complicate life. That's all. If you want to complicate life, you go around fighting it. See, you're in the army, we have to fight. But even in the army, when you're fighting, you can fight without hatred. See, when we are continuously acting with emotion, we are not always thinking clearly. So whether you're in sport or a confrontative business, anything confrontative, you're in army, you're a police officer, still you can act without greed and hatred, aversion, and still act with pure. It's called pure action. So this is called bhaya samyama. And now we have antar samyama. So antar samyama, again it can be divided into many categories. Let me tell you briefly what is antar samyama. Meditating within us with samyama, with equanimity, is antar samyama. Now what can we meditate on? We can meditate on the object. What are the objects of meditation that are popularly taught, right, in the different schools of yogic practices? One is called prana upasana, then bhavana upasana, then manovikrutis, meditating on manovikrutis. What is prana upasana? I will tell you all these things very briefly because we'll get to the main point in a bit. So prana upasana is, see, in our body we have this something called prana shakti. When we take the breath in, that is also prana. The breath is a part of prana. Breath itself is not prana. People think this is only prana. No. This is called mukhya prana. When we take the breath in, along with that, breath is part of that pranic energy that is in the body. So there are different 5 pranas: prana, vyana, samana, apana, and udana. So there are 5 pranas. The main thing, prana, we call it mukhya prana. So people who meditate on these different pranas or do samyama on these pranas gain control over the pranas, right? So that is one type of upasana, or one type of paddhati, meditation technique, that we have meditation system. That is prana upasana, samyama on prana samyamana. And then we have the second one, which is called bhavana samyama. This is like vipassana, they teach this. Vipassana, what do they say? You have to look at a certain sensation in the body and meditate on it with equanimity, not getting agitated by this sensation. Whatever the sensation is, just look at it and be aware. And in this vipassana also there are a couple of ways. In one vipassana they say you have to scan. So the entire body from head to toe, you go through every single sensation. Wherever you look at the top of your head, you look at your forehead, your Agna chakra, your nostrils, you see the breath, all these things you do. You look at all your fingers, your palm, all these things. You meditate on all these body parts and slowly you become subtler and subtler and subtler. This is called body scanning. So this is also bhavana samyamana, right? Or bhava samyamana. This is also there. But it depends on the school of thought. Some school of thought say you should scan. Why are they telling you to scan? I will tell you today a small secret on why they are telling you to scan and not meditate on a particular bhavana. See what happens. Suppose we are meditating on the heart chakra. See, in Vipassana, they don't focus on the chakras. Chakras are non-existent for Vipassana meditators. But I will tell you a small secret on why they tell you not to do this and to scan from head to toe. Simple reason is when you're looking at a certain chakra, for example, and you're meditating on that chakra for a long period of time, you can activate it. You will cleanse it first, then you will activate it, and then it can be even overactivated. See, once you activate it, certain siddhis will be released. Right? Certain siddhis or certain extrasensory perceptions you will become aware of. Suddenly you will be able to read someone's mind, you'll be able to see the future, you will be able to see the past, things like that, or desire manifestation. See, when I'm saying all these things, I know some of you are thinking, I will try it, it will help me. But the path is full of pitfalls. Right? When you overactivate it, or the energy, because what happens when let's say I'm meditating on the Anahata chakra, that is the heart chakra, for long periods of time. What does that mean? That I will be ignoring my other chakras. I will be ignoring my Vishuddhi chakra, for example, or Manipuraka. And when you ignore, which I am also guilty of doing this, because before I used to do this, I used to focus on only one chakra, and I used to, enjoy these things. I was like, wow, I'm feeling this, or I'm experiencing that. When you ignore and you overactivate only one thing, it's like life, like work-life balance. If you're only focusing on your work and you're earning money and you don't give any importance to your family, what happens? Your kids grow up without a caring parent, without a loving parent, and you would have missed their childhood, for example. Right? Similarly, that's why in Vipassana they say don't meditate on one spot, because the complications that arise from meditating on one spot are, according to that school, is a lot. So they focus on body scanning. Not to say that by body scanning, so siddhis are not awakened and all that, but it is a more balanced approach to meditation. So that is what the one school of Vipassana, they teach like that. Other schools of Vipassana focus on a particular sensation. They can say meditate on the heart chakra, meditate on Vishuddhi, whatever. There are things like this also. But this is bhava samyamana, when you meditate on a certain thing. So when you focus on a certain sensation in the body and you don't respond to whatever happens, it could be a gross sensation, you just look at it, just being aware. Just look, just witness. Choiceless awareness, right? Being choiceless, just looking at it. And those sensations open up. The grosser sensation open up. You go deeper. Look at it. Don't run away from it. Some other sensation came, some other pain came somewhere. Don't move away. Stay there. Let it open up. The sensation will become like prana. It will become a string of prana. It will move like a string. It can. So don't imagine things. Just see. See, the idea is not to imagine. The idea is not to impose the imagination of the mind, right, on the bhavana. Similarly with prana. So we have prana upasana and we have bhava upasana. Then we have mano upasana on the manas. Manas means what? We are meditating on the vikrutis of the mind. Vikruti is like that agitation in the mind. So suppose some thought is arising. That thought itself is vikruti. Any thought that arises in the mind is a vikruti. It is a disturbance in consciousness. See, thought is not something beautiful and amazing. Even if it is the thought of God, it is a vikruti. Any form that arises in consciousness is a vikruti. It is a disturbance in in consciousness. So looking at these disturbances and being aware. When we're looking at it, when we say we are looking at it, now what is the secret? What happens? We realize that I am not the mind. The mind is separate, the one who is seeing is separate. When I am seeing it, I am not at all the mind. So there only you will see the separation. Similarly with bhavana, with prana, what's happening? You are seeing that you are not the mind, you are not the prana, you are not the the sensations, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the prana. Automatically there is a separation from the awareness and the object of meditation. So this is called manas samyamana. Okay, so we have prana, bhava and manas samyamana. And then there is one more thing. Now we have done this. These are all separate things. Manas is separate, bhavana is separate, prana is separate. Then we have the fourth thing, which is called pratigrahana. Pratigrahana means returning. So pratigrahana samyamana, or we can even say it is nivritti samyamana. So this is the end game. To end samyama also, to end this. So what we do is pratigrahana samyama, basically we go to the root of the subject or even the object. See, till now we were looking at the object, we were looking at sensations, all these things. Now we look at the subject. When we say subject, who is the subject? Not the manas. Now we have already separated the mind from the self. Now, when I say I am watching the mind, right? So when samyama also, in samyama, in equanimity, you are saying, be equanimous, be aware, be aware, be aware. Who is being aware? Who wants to become aware? So there is an entity who is trying to be aware of a sensation. And this guy you have to catch hold of. This is pratigrahana, holding. Hold this guy and go to the root of this. Now I am saying, look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it. This will help me go to the root of it by being equanimous. Not by saying grab onto it, go. By being equanimous on your way back. Till now we will say, oh, be equanimous, be equanimous. Now we say, who wants to be equanimous? Who is equanimous? Not saying, but becoming aware of this identity or this entity who is equanimous. So when you say I am equanimous, just watch yourself. Who is equanimous? Right? Who is equanimous? So with this slight, there is a thin thread of consciousness or a thin thread of thought which you hold on to this thread. So there is a thorn, right? So let's say a thorn has gone into your feet. How do you pull out the thorn? To pull out the thorn, you take another thorn and use that thorn to take this thorn out. Similarly, this final thought, who am I or who is this, is that thorn to take out all the thorn of samsara in the consciousness. Right? So to rid yourself of ignorance, to rid yourself of the maya, final nail in the coffin, final breakthrough to self-realization, breakthrough to what we say, you call it enlightenment, moksha, whatever. Realization of the self-knowledge is, who is this? Who is who is trying to be equanimous? This is savikalpa samyama. Savikalpa samyamana, there is still vikalpa. Vikalpa, there is still imagination, some amount of imagination. I am saying be equanimous, be equanimous, be equanimous. Being equanimous is also imagination. It is an act. It is still, there is an Itcha, right? So finally we say we have to get rid of Itcha Shakti. There is still intention. It is a very subtle intention, but there is intention. There is no desire, there is no greed, there is no aversion, but there is intention. Right? This is called savikalpa samyamana. Now, just by, in a very subtle way, giving up even that intention, giving up that Itcha for equanimity. Even giving up that Itcha for equanimity, this is the final, it is coming very close to that. By giving up even the Itcha Shakti, even the intention to be aware, naturally, not in the beginning stages, when you go to the root of the self, when you go to the root of meditation, when you go to the root of the object of meditation, looking at the subject, when we're coming to the root, when we're coming back to the self, giving up even the desire or the intention, then there is something called nirvikalpa samyama. In this, all imagination is gone. So, what is the difference between savikalpa and nirvikalpa samyama? I'll tell you. In savikalpa, you are imagining equanimity. No, but why are we calling it in nirvikalpa? Why are we calling it samyama? Because your real state is samyama only. In your real state, you are equanimous only. It's not like your real state is different from equanimity. But now, till now, the equanimity was mentally produced, or the equanimity was trying to be held on. So it was like imagination, right? Till now, in a way, it has helped you reach this stage, but till now, still the words milk were written. It is not real milk. By looking at, okay, milk is white, milk is, this kind of thickness, now slowly you're arriving to milk. You get what I'm saying? By its description, you have come to that place. But let's say I'll tell you how to reach Kashi. Somebody will say Kashi has Ganga Nadi, Kashi has ghats, Kashi has 1,000 temples. So by the description, thinking about Kashi, we have reached Kashi. If you never think about Kashi, you will never reach Kashi. You'll be at home only, you'll be wherever you are in some, So Mokshapuri, Kashi is Mokshapuri. Similarly, by continuously thinking about this, the self, being equanimous, finally you will reach the state. Because what you meditate on, you become. Right? So, if you keep walking north, you will reach the North Pole. It is simple as that, right? Similarly, by practicing equanimity, you will reach the real state of equanimity, where you don't need the Kriya Shakti. You don't need to act, or you don't need to intend to be equanimous. The intention disappears. The action, holding on, be equanimous, that effort disappears. So intention disappears, effort disappears. Now there is effortlessness. And in this effortlessness, you will find real equanimity. That is nirvikalpa samyamana. Right? So what happens when these kind of experiences happen to anybody, or this kind of real nature of your own self appears to you, right? See, it is not like it is not appearing now. Even now we are actually, all human beings are aware of their intrinsic state. Just like a mirror is dirty, you cannot see with clarity the reflection. So similarly, even now you experience the self, but you are not able to enjoy the bliss of the self because the mirror is dirty. So we have to only get rid of the conflicting thoughts, or we have to be rid of the ignorance that we are not the self, that we are not enjoying this. When this is done, now finally we will reach. First we have Savikalpa Samyamana, then we have Nirvikalpa Samyamana. Then it becomes a natural state. Your body gets used to it. Your consciousness starts abiding in this. Only with abidance, you can say that I have come to the final state. Now what is this abidance? It is called Sahaja Sthiti or Sahaja Samyamana. Naturally, without effort, without anything, this experience does not come and go, because your manovrittis are destroyed forever through equanimity. Got it? This is the method to experience your own true state, by going to the root, by pratigrahana. Got it? Going to the root, and then there is the savikalpa, and then giving up even the effort, becoming effortless. Naturally, see, effort has to be held on till naturally effortlessness happens. That light of effortlessness will engulf you. It will become impossible for you to have to, put effort. Till then we have to put the effort. People say, no, you are the self, you have choiceless awareness, nothing needs to be done. All that is okay, but in that stage, in the beginning, in the middle, effort has to continue till effort becomes impossible to put. You cannot put any more effort. Naturally it will subside. And then this energy takes over. Right? After pratigrahana, we will go through these savikalpa, nirvikalpa and sahaja samyamana. So what I suggest for any meditator out there is first start with the outer world. That is non-negotiable. In the outer world, daily, practice this. At all states, at all time, ask yourself, tell yourself, be equanimous. Just be equanimous. Something is happening, don't get agitated. You get agitated is fine. Any agitation arises in the mind, become aware of it. See, we are never again suppressing. We are not saying suppress your anger. We are not saying suppress your lust or any feeling that you are coming. And neither am I saying express it. You get angry, express it. There is a third thing. See, expression and suppression are two things. Third thing is becoming aware. Be aware. Nothing needs to be done. There you will not find any fruits in this, in the daily life. You will not say, oh my God, my anger has disappeared. Nothing is going to happen. But you will gain something which is so valuable that you will understand that all the days of, feeling bad and all these things, it's all worth it. Practice makes man perfect. So discipline, every single day, at all times, try to be equanimous in the external world. Similarly, in the internal world, practice antar samyamana. Focus. See, today don't meditate on prana, tomorrow on bhavana, day after tomorrow on manas. No. I suggest bhava samyamana for any meditator. See, why we meditate on bhava and not prana? Prana is very sukshma, very subtle. You cannot hold on to prana. Prana moves. It goes away. So only for advanced meditators, I'll say, okay, prana upasana is fine or prana samyamana is fine. For advanced meditators, for most of us, for most of the people who are doing now, try to focus on the bhava samyamana. And why not mano vikruti? See, mind, we call it vikruti for a reason, right? It is a perversion. It will take you somewhere else. You will be meditating on one thought. Some other thought will come and take you somewhere else. It is impossible. You will get caught in the web of thoughts. So again, till your practice is strengthened, focus on a sensation in the body. This I will give you the freedom. You want to do the body scanning, you can do. Scanning is, like I said, meditate a few seconds on a sensation and then a little lower and then lower. In any order. You want to go from head to toe, feet to toe to head. You want to meditate on the chakras. I am open to all these things. I say, feel free. It is up to you. Each individual, let him make a decision on how he wants to meditate on whether he wants to meditate on the chakras or anahata only. Even that is okay. 1 point is okay. 1 pointed concentration, but with samyamana. Only thing I will suggest is don't meditate on the Agna chakra. Don't do samyamana on the Agna chakra. Nothing above your head as far as possible. On your heart chakra, on your manipuraka. Very good. In your heart is fine. On the right side of the heart is also fine. They say this is the heat, this is the seat of the self. It is fine. But one pointedness. Bhava samyamana. Hold on to it every single day. And even let's say you're, somewhere you're sitting, you're just relaxing, you're reading a book, you're drinking coffee. Become aware. Come back to the space. Meditate on the space. Suppose you're meditating on your anahata chakra. This is the safest chakra to meditate on, to do samyamana on. Suppose you are drinking coffee, come back. Just be aware. I'm saying in your daily life. Not when you are driving, not when you are operating heavy machinery, not when you're crossing the road. Safe environment, when you're sitting down, when you're relaxing somewhere at home, watching television, anything, it's fine. This is separate from the practice. Every day I would suggest take a time out, especially as soon as you wake up. Let's say you wake up, you finish your morning cycles and then meditate. This is a good time. Or after you come back from work or school, college, whatever. After work also you can do. But best period in the morning as soon as you wake up. Give it. If you can give 21 minutes, give 21 minutes. If you can give 40, give 40 minutes. If you can give 1 hour, 1 hour. 21 minutes is bare minimum. At least. If you don't have any time whatsoever, you're a very busy person, try to give yourself at least that much time. 1 hour is very good. This is sustainable base. Why I say 21 minutes is it's sustainable. You can do this, but whenever you practice for the rest of your life. Don't practice for 15 days, 2 days, 3 days. No. Right? Start, okay. Now let's say you're going to do this. Say I will do this for 3 weeks, 21 days. Make this. Then habits are formed, good habits are formed. Then you can decide. Right? So let's start this. And I hope you enjoyed this thing about Samyama. Any doubts you have, please let me know in the comments. Thank you.
If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. And thanks for watching. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.